FM Benin. My name is Ohis Eboreme, and we have just entered the business end of the FIFA 2026 World Cup. The first quarterfinal was played yesterday, and France predictably, expectedly defeated Morocco 2-0, courtesy of the usual suspect, Kylian Mbappe, and his partner in progress, Ousmane Dembele, current World Footballer of the Year. Well, FIFA the best and current Ballon d'Or winner. All right, so Morocco entered into that match without their star player, Ismail Saibari, who just signed for Bayern Munich for 55 million euros. We keep repeating this for those who do not know, in order for you to be kept abreast with activities and recent events in sports so far. All right, so France started that match with Kylian Mbappe missing a penalty. Of course, Yassine Bono of Morocco is definitely world class, especially at World Cup tournaments. He has only let in 2 penalties out of 9 faced in his World Cup sojourn. All right, so 9 penalties faced, 2 conceded, 7 saved, or people contriving to miss for reasons best known to them. All right, so France won that match deservedly by 2-0. They dominated that match from start to finish. Without Saibari, Morocco were toothless in attack, insipid, flat-footed. Brahim Diaz couldn't replicate his form of previous games, and the likes of Azzedine Ounahi were absent. But let us not forget that Azzedine Ounahi and Kylian Mbappe are the only 2 players across 2 World Cup tournaments that have had 20+ successful dribbles and have also been fouled 20+ times. So in terms of being highly technical, they are clearly ahead. Kylian Mbappe scored his 20th World Cup goal and gave his 5th World Cup assist in his historic World Cup form so far. He's just 27 years old and the youngest player to hit 20 World Cup matches. So 20 goals in 20 World Cup matches. Let us not forget that his World Cup story began in 2018 Russia, when France beat Croatia in the final. Even though he didn't get to win the player of the tournament, he was on hand to win the young player of the tournament, and that was what actually kick-started Kylian Mbappe's international career with France. Since then, it's been a long time coming. 8 years on, he has scored 20 World Cup goals in 3 tournaments. Kylian Mbappe has also scored 8 goals in this tournament and had 3 assists. He's the only player in the history of the World Cup to have 10+ goal contributions in 2 different World Cup tournaments. He had 8 goals and 2 assists in 2022 in Qatar, where he scored a hat-trick, but it wasn't to be in that final against Argentina. He also has scored 8 goals and assisted 3 times. All assists have been to Ousmane Dembele, his friend and brother. All right, Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe also became the first duo to score 8 goals and 5 goals respectively in a World Cup tournament. Do you know the other 2? Ronaldo and Rivaldo in the 2002 World Cup, Korea, Japan. Ronaldo scored 8 in that tournament and Rivaldo scored 5. The partnership was ruthless and devastatingly magnificent. All right, so for Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele, they've scored 8 and 5 goals respectively, and for Dembele, he's also got 2 assists to boost. All right, so Desiree Doué was the guy who assisted Kylian Mbappe in that fantastic goal after Kylian Mbappe missed the penalty in the first half of that encounter. That makes Kylian Mbappe the 4th player in history, or in World Cup history, to score, assist, and miss a penalty in a World Cup match. The first was Asamoah Gyan in 2006, Ghana, Czech Republic, scored, assisted, and missed a penalty. In 2014, Kylian Mbappe, France, Switzerland, scored, assisted, and missed a penalty. In 2026, Messi versus Egypt, scored, assisted, missed a penalty. Kylian Mbappe joined that exclusive club yesterday, and what a brilliant performance! The mesmeric, actually, electrifying, and Didier Deschamps has done very well as a manager, as a player. In '98, he won it as the captain under Enrique. In 2000, Euro 2000, he won it as the captain as well under Roger Lemaire. And the 2016 final, in fact, today makes it 10 years that France lost that final to Portugal. We remember a certain Eder becoming an unlikely hero after Ronaldo left that match early in the encounter. All right. So Didier Deschamps has at least reached the semi-final of tournaments where he has taken France as or led France as a manager. So when you have Kylian Mbappe and others, there's nothing you cannot achieve. There's no limit to what you can accomplish. All right. For Morocco, they'll be licking their wounds. Of course, there was no bright spark at all. Nothing to really. Even Ayod Boabe was uncharacteristically error-prone yesterday. Made some uncharacteristic errors. Even though he's 18 years old, he has proved that age is only a number. Plays matured beyond his years. Just a thing, but he's an energetic midfield player with brains for days. All right, so Morocco out of the World Cup in the quarterfinal stage. They could not go beyond the quarterfinal this time. In 2002, they also got to the semi-final. They got to the semi-final, but were defeated by Mbappe and France. Of course, Nusa Mazraoui was the guy who impeded Kylian Mbappe in the first half, which led to a penalty that was expertly saved by Yassine Burner. Right, so today Spain and Belgium will be playing the second quarterfinal of the FIFA 2026 World Cup. Lamine Yamal has been waxing lyrical about how he's going to perform well. Of course, Belgium are no slouch. They don't have Amadou Onana, who succumbed to a right anterior cruciate ligament injury. Not just for Belgium, Aston Villa very upset. Also looking at replacements because ACL, you have at least 9 months to recover such a long-term injury layoff, unfortunately, for Amadou Onana. But they've got capable hands to replace them, even though they are short-handed. They've got capable hands to replace Amadou Onana in the Belgian midfield. Charles de Ketelaere will be looking to add to his 2 goals and 1 assist against USA in the previous round. Let us see if Belgium can finally unlock that defense that is well and capably led by Unai Simon, who up till this point haven't conceded a goal in the 2006 FIFA World Cup. All right, that's why Unai Simon is keeping Arsenal's #1 and the winner of the Golden Glove in the Premier League last season, David Raya, who is on the bench, and nobody can see him taking over that Spanish #1 shirt from Unai Simon. Because the Unai Simon, Athletic Bilbao's goaltender, is doing very well between the sticks. All right, so for Spain, they still have Mikel Oyarzabal, Mikel Merino, they've got Rodri, Gavi, Pedri, some very good players, Ferran Torres, Lamine Yamal, who is the pick of the bunch. They've got Marco Kurela and others who can do very well. They've got the teenager in defense, Paul Kubasi, who alongside Lamine Yamal became the first set of teenagers to start a World Cup knockout match since Pele and Altafini in the 1970 FIFA World Cup. All right, so that's for Spain, Belgium. Spain, Belgium will be facing off today, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Romelu Lukaku will be looking to contribute immensely again from the bench. He's scored a lot of goals from the bench so far, and he's far and away the highest goal scorer in Belgian football history, and also the highest goal scorer in World Cup history for Belgium. All right, so if the likes of Kevin De Bruyne can up the ante today, the likes of Jeremy Doku of the ante, and at the end of the day, we'll see if Belgium, the Red Devils, can pose any stiff resistance to the La Roja or to La Roja of Spain. I keep saying the La Roja to La Roja of Spain. All right, so let's go straight to Wimbledon, where Novak Djokovic will be meeting Yannick Sinner for the second straight semi-final at Wimbledon. They met last year. Of course, Sinner prevailed, but this is a different Novak, and Sinner has lost some of that form, and he's world number one. So can we say he's a bit lethargic? Well, it remains to be seen, because Sinner has done very well since he rose to that position of world number one. He's the best tennis player in the world for a reason. Nobody saw that coming in at the beginning of the 2026 tennis season at the ATP level, when Carlos Alcaraz won the Australian Open and completed the Grand Slam. The 7-time Grand Slam champion has been sidelined by injury. He hopes to return for the hard-court swing, Cincinnati, Toronto, and the US Open. And let's see if he's going to be at Flushing Meadows, because his wrist has recovered sufficiently. So Yannick versus Novak Djokovic, a fight between 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak and 4-time Grand Slam champion Yannick Sinner. Yannick has the capacity and the ability to win more slams, and Novak at 39 is an outgoing champion. He doesn't want to give up yet. He wants to win that seemingly elusive 25th Grand Slam to put some clear daylight between himself and Rafael Nadal. He's already won 2 more than the Spanish Matador, but let us see if he has it in him. We saw that 5-setter in the quarterfinal versus 25-year-old Fegioje Aliassime, and that was the longest quarterfinal in Wimbledon history. Let us see if Novak, who had 0 unforced errors in that 5th set deciding tie break, the deciding 5th set tie break against FAA, he raises his game when it matters. So let's see if the Serb superstar can get one over Yannick. Yannick has revenge on his mind, because Novak Djokovic defeated him in the semi-finals at Melbourne in January and ultimately lost to Carlos Alcaraz, even though he won the first set, but Carlos wasn't having it. That was the first match that Novak Djokovic had lost at the Australian Open final. He has won 10 Australian Open titles and lost only 1 Australian Open final, and that was to Carlos Alcaraz in January. The second semi-final, we'll see Alexander Zverev facing Arthur Ferry. Right, Alexander Zverev and Arthur Ferry is an unlikely semi-final. Of course, people expected Alex Zverev to do well after winning Roland Garros. That was the moral booster he needed. He's highly motivated. He's won 12 straight Grand Slam matches since he won Roland Garros. 7 matches won, and at Roland Garros 5-1 so far at Wimbledon. He's the favorite, but based on how Arthur Ferry has been playing, the British wild card will definitely cost the German superstar some problems in that other semi-final. He's got the home support and the home crowd behind him. Let us see if that will unsettle Zverev's game. Zverev got one mental obstacle out of the way by defeating Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals after losing 7 previous matches against him in a row. He ended that terrible run by eliminating Taylor Fritz of the United States of America in the quarterfinals in straight sets. So he's playing Arthur Ferry for the right to be at the Wimbledon final on Sunday against either Yannick Sinner or Novak Djokovic. Zverev and Ferry will start the semi-final today, and Yannick and Novak will follow suit at Center Court, the most prestigious court in tennis history. So let us see how that pans out. Yesterday, Caroline Muchova defeated Coco Gauff in the first semi-final of the women's singles at Wimbledon. She won the first set 6-2, quite comfortable. Coco roared back by winning the second 6-1, and the third set was topsy-turvy for both of them. They had that back and forth. Caroline Muchova saved the match point before eventually prevailing 12-10 in the deciding third set tie break, and that ensured that a Czech at least to be in the final of Wimbledon. We've had some Czech players winning Wimbledon in the past, the likes of Martina Navratilova, who later naturalized as an American. We've had Yana Novotná. We've also had Barbara Krejcikova. Let's not forget the left the lefty herself, Petra Kvitova. All right. So at this point, after Caroline Muchova defeated Coco Gauff, it was left for another check to make it a checkmate in the final, and she wasted no time in dispatching Marta Kostyuk in 2 sets, 6-4, 6-4. Her name is Linda Noskova. She's 21 years old, and she'll be playing her Czech counterpart, Caroline Muchova, in the final of the women's singles at Wimbledon tomorrow. The most unlikely, or the unlikeliest final. Sports brings out all those things, so let's see what goes on in an all-Czech women's final tomorrow. All right, Linda Noskova versus Caroline Muchova. Let the best woman win. That's all for Wimbledon. So many transfers have gone on over the last couple of days. So many guys jumping ship. Let us tell you today that Johan Manzambi is Newcastle bound after Freiburg agreed a 60 million euro offer. Agreed to a 60 million euro offer, and that will mean that Johan Manzambi will be plying his trade at Tyneside, or in Tyneside, next season. Johan Manzambi has done very well for Switzerland, even though he's currently injured, scoring 3 goals and delivering 2 assists so far. The FIFA 2026 World Cup, jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. So Johan Manzambi is going to Newcastle to join the likes of Nick Waltemada, Harvey Barnes, Buza Mature, and others, in the absence of people like Aaron Gordon and Sandro Tonali. Bruno Guimaraes is still insisting that he wants to go to Arsenal, but Newcastle still adamant that stance that nobody can prize away their captain. I'm sure it's just that IGG, as they say on the streets, because everybody's got a prize, especially in football. We remember how different transfers have been protracted over the years in the past, so something is definitely got to give. Bruno Guimaraes wants to play at Arsenal. He's got the right to definitely want to be ambitious. He's got the right to be ambitious. Arsenal, a much better team than Liverpool, than Newcastle, not Liverpool, sorry. A much better team than Newcastle. For Liverpool, they got Victor Munoz. We said that before. They couldn't get Yan Diomande because Yan Diomande has said yes to PSG, even though he hasn't signed yet. All right. So for that, that's that. For that, Jurgen Klopp reunited with Kylian Mbappe yesterday, and they had this banter, this playful talk about Kylian Mbappe joining Liverpool, how it could have been done, until he decided against it and joined PSG instead. When he was at Monaco, Jurgen Klopp had that private jet, 5 rooms to Kylian and his family. They had a talk, they discussed, and Kylian and his family made a U-turn, and Mbappe signed for PSG. The rest is history. But so many historic things have been happening in football, and Leo Messi, with 21 World Cup goals, next tomorrow morning we will be hoping to add to that when Argentina play against Switzerland. Let us see if Manzambi will be fit enough to play for the Swiss in that encounter. If he doesn't, they are capable players who can definitely do a thing or two on the pitch, such as Bril Embolo, Grand Xhaka, Ruben Vargas, and to mention but a few. There's also Norway, who will be playing against England, with the likes of Antonio Nusa and Erling Haaland. So let's see how that goes for Norway. All right. England have said they will do everything possible to prevent Haaland from adding to his 7 World Cup goals. They know how he plays. Everybody pretty much knows how Erling Haaland plays, but you know how he plays. It's a different ball game when you want to stop him from scoring, because so many defenders, world-class defenders, have tried and they have failed. Erling Haaland is sitting on 7 World Cup goals from nowhere. World-class in every respect. Harry Kane has 6 World Cup goals, and he's also got 13 World Cup goals in total for England. Let's not forget that Harry Kane was the highest goal scorer at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. All right, he scored 6 goals for the Three Lions in that tournament. So he's got goals in him, and he's comfortably the best striker in the world at the moment. He scored more goals than any striker this year. So numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. This is statistics for you. Stats don't lie as well. It is either 10 or it is 0. So Harry Kane is the highest goal scorer for club and country in the world this year. That definitely makes him the best striker in the world at the moment, and he's proving it for England. He definitely led that resurgence against Mexico. Well, they led 2-0. Mexico caused a scare when Julian Quinones scored that goal, his 4th for L3 in the tournament. Then Harry Kane actually scored a penalty, and at the other end, cost 1-4 against his side, which was quickly dispatched by Raul Jimenez. All right, so there are some transfer news which we will quickly rush. Andre Santos completed the second part of his medical at Manchester United Old Trafford yesterday, and he's a Manchester United player by and large, even though it hasn't been made official yet. So for Andre Santos, he is a Manchester United player. It is still an issue for Ederson. Manchester United and Atalanta. Manchester United want guarantees. Nobody knows what's going on, but the likes of Ben Jacobs, Fabrizio Romano, people who are in the know, David Ornstein, in terms of transfers, are saying that there's clearly an impasse because Andre Santos did 2 medicals as quickly as possible. Nobody knows why Ederson's medical is taking so long, and why it is causing so many issues. All right, so let us see how a lot of things will pan out concerning Atalanta and Manchester United. We know that a month ago they agreed a £45 million deal, or 45 million euros, but right now there is clearly an issue between Manchester United and Atalanta. All right, so well, let's hope that they can sort it out as quickly as possible. Yeah, so Manchester United will also be looking at other options. Manu Kone, a lot of Manchester United fans are saying, why not leave these guys, Ederson and co, and just go straight for Manu Kone? Arsenal also very interested in him. Did you see him yesterday? He dominated that midfield that had Boabi and Azedin Unahi. So there are Yunus for Morocco. All right. So Jurgen Klopp is a few details away from becoming the next manager of Germany. And as for Jurgen Klopp, I'm sure only the German job was good enough to take him away from that RB project, Red Bull project. Well, when your national team comes calling, you'd have to answer the call. That's why Zinedine Zidane is waiting patiently to take over from Didier Deschamps. But it is going to be a high ceiling because Didier Deschamps has set a very high bar. Let's see if Zidane, who won 3 consecutive Champions League titles at Real Madrid, can do something a lot better than what Didier Deschamps has done at for France as the managerial great he is for the France, or for the French national team. Didier Deschamps was just as efficient as a player as he is now as a manager. He was captain, fantastic. He was a leader, and he is a legendary French player. Had 103 caps for the French national team. Now, there's some debate about who the greatest French player in history is. I have always said Michel Platini, for reasons best known to me. You do not win 3 consecutive Ballon d'Ors, and you are not in the discussion as the best player from your country in history. He also won the 1984 European Championships, was highest goal scorer from midfield. We remember the Kaja Magica, the magic box. All right, so it was the Magnificent Four: Luis Fernandez, Alan Giresse, Yon Tigana, and Michel Platini. All right, Platini was the leader of the quartet and ensured that France won that tournament. So Michel Platini, fantastic player, didn't do well as UEFA president. Corruption everywhere. His tenure was marred by corruption, and he had no other option but to leave that exalted position because those who come to equity must come with clean hands. All right. So Kylian Mbappe is now in the conversation. Highest goal scorer in French history, highest French goal scorer in World Cup history. 20 World Cup goals in 20 matches. When you have these numbers, you are definitely in the conversation for best French player in history. So people have also had an argument for Thierry Henry, but I think he doesn't have these numbers. Thierry Henry, no, he's far behind. Zinedine Zidane has won the Ballon d'Or, has won the World Footballer of the Year award. And Kylian Mbappe hasn't won the Ballon d'Or, the World Footballer of the Year award yet. But I know that if France eventually prevails in the World Cup final, if they get there, there is nothing stopping Mbappe from being named the Ballon d'Or and FIFA the best. All right. People want Messi to win it for Argentina and probably become the oldest player in recent history to win the Ballon d'Or. That will be his unprecedented night Ballon d'Or if it eventually happens. He's won 8 more than anybody. The closest to him is his rival, Cristiano Ronaldo, who's won 5. A few guys, very interesting footballers who've won 3. Michel Platini, Marco van Basten, 88, 89, 92. If not for injuries, he had to leave the game or bow out of the game early before he was 30 because of the niggling knee injury, which impeded his career and curtailed it at the same time. All right, so there have been so many great players, but some of them have bowed to injury woes, which haven't been any fault of theirs. All right, so for Kylian Mbappe, he's breaking so many records and setting unassailable ones. Let us see what next he has up his sleeve in the semi-final of the World Cup. He's no stranger to that. He's played 2 World Cup semi-finals and won both. So I do not think that anything is going to stop France from getting to the final. But impossible is nothing. Anything can happen in football. All right. So Luis de la Fuente, the coach of Spain, has said that Messi looks like he's 19 or 23 years old. He's performing at an exceptional level. It's not just his maturity anymore, but above all, his commitment. All right. He's tireless. He's never satisfied. He always wants more every single day. He's an example for all of his teammates, for football lovers, and for everyone who's just starting out in the game. He's perfectly described Leo Messi. Extremely committed player. One of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. Ronaldo fans will never agree, me included, but yeah, Messi has the numbers, of course. Like Novak and Rafa, you can say Rafa, if he wasn't injured for so long in his career, had so many injury layoffs, he would have been the greatest. But that's what might have been. Right now, what is? Novak Djokovic is the winningest tennis player in Grand Slam history. So numbers don't lie, like we always say. All right. So everybody, very intelligent guy, 10 years old, top of his class in most things, and doing very well. He's got working class parents who also encourage him. He's 18 years old, chose to play for Morocco over France. Saw how stacked the midfield for France is. Knew he would find the opportunities, had to come by in the French national team. He said, regrets not to represent France? Not at all. I made my choice. No regrets. I am proud to represent Morocco. So he is proudly an Atlas Lion. Let's look at Issa Diop, who was born in France, has Senegalese parents, and decided to play for Morocco. So it's a matter of choice. Barcelona, very close to unveiling Karim Adeyemi, that club-to-club discussion between Barcelona and BVB yielding the right results. Let us see how that goes. A lot of people are saying Karim Adeyemi is Nigerian, as he's the first Nigerian to play for Barcelona. He's got Nigerian roots, but he's German. He's got Nigerian roots, but he's German. I think the first 2 Nigerians to play for Barcelona are Benga Kunawo and Emmanuel Amunike. All right. not in that order really. I just turned them around. So Emmanuel Amunike and Benga Okunowo are the two Nigerians who have played for Barcelona thus far. Karim Adeyemi has Nigerian roots, so he is going to sign for Barcelona in the coming days. All right, Napoli have agreed all terms with Ezekiel Zeballos on a 5-year deal since May. All right, Zeballos said no to CSK Moscow for 20 million net in 5 years as salary. All right, so he has decided to go to Napoli. I'm sure we also said that yesterday. Xabi Alonso has said that being back in business feels so good. He's the new coach of Chelsea. He replaced some of those respectfully clowns that Chelsea decided to. There was a Liam Rosenio. I don't know where Chelsea got that guy from, but well. Before then, Enzo Maresca had to quickly step aside because his friend already told him he was leaving Manchester City and he was the anointed replacement. So you do not stay at Chelsea when Manchester City come. They are definitely better than Chelsea at the moment, have won more titles in the last 8 or 9 years. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. So Xabi Alonso did very well at Bayer Leverkusen, had that temporary glitch at Real Madrid, even though the likes of Kylian Mbappe weren't happy when he was sacked, when he was let go, because Kylian, Vinicius and co were claimed to be very happy under Xabi Alonso at Real. He was replaced by his former Spanish teammate and Real Madrid teammate as well, Alvaro Arbeloa, who actually took Madrid to the cleaners. Yeah, he did a lot worse than Xabi Alonso. He's now the new coach of Fulham. We wish him all the best there. The Premier League is a different ball game altogether. I am sure he will learn the hard way, because the hard way is the only way. All right. So, France and Morocco had beautiful moments yesterday. Mbappe was consoling his Madrid teammate Brahim Diaz, but you are consoling somebody that you beat silly. Well, that's medicine after that. But well, it has happened, and it has happened. Morocco gave a good account of themselves in this World Cup tournament. So let us see how it goes for them in future tournaments. African Nations Cup, they won it in the CAF boardroom. Senegal won it on the pitch. So let's see how that goes after all. All right. So before the 2026 World Cup, Ousmane Dembele has 0 World Cup goals. A lot of questions came and said, what's Ousmane Dembele's contribution to the French national setup? But since Luis Enrique took over at PSG, he has been revitalized, reinvigorated, reborn, and he has won the Ballon d'Or. Even though the last Champions League triumph wasn't all about Dembele compared to the one they won 2 years ago. Last year, the one they won last year, but the one they won this year, Vice Cavaselia was their best player, KK for short, of course. We know how good the Georgian is from the wings. Does very well. He was definitely the best player at PSG last season in the Champions League. All right. So, but Dembele, his stock has risen since Luis Enrique became the manager of PSG. He's won 3 Champions League titles now, 1 at Barcelona, 2 at PSG. He's definitely pursuing Carlo Ancelotti's record. They have to be careful because Luis Enrique is hungry and raring to go. All right. So, well, for basketball, we forgot to say that LeBron James has told the Los Angeles Lakers that he is leaving, and he's not retiring. His boy Bronny is still there. He's not retiring, so he's going to leave all the work for Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, who hope to recover fully for the upcoming basketball season. We know that in basketball, the last time was all about the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and co. So for LeBron, he's seeking pastures new. Giannis Antetokounmpo has left the Milwaukee Bucks as well. So many things are happening in the world of basketball. We will definitely bring you up to speed as events unfold. But the big news is that LeBron James has left Los Angeles Lakers. He won that the NBA ring in 2020 with the Los Angeles Lakers, but we expect more, or we expected more from the King. He's won 4 NBA rings. He's won at Cleveland. He's won at Miami, and he's won at the Lakers. He won 2 at Miami with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. He also won at Cleveland with Tristan Thompson and co. All right, Kyrie Irving as well. I remember that so very well. All right, so for the Knicks, they'll be looking to build on an incredible season under Mike Brown, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and co. Will be looking to cement their place in the annals of NBA history by probably winning another ring. For the Golden State, they still have Steve Kerr as their coach. They have the chef, Stephen Curry, who is the best shooter in history without a shadow of a doubt. So GSW might come out firing on all cylinders. They've still got the Spurs or Victor Wembanyama. Let us see if the Spurs, after losing to the Knicks in the final, have anything up their sleeves for the upcoming NBA season. All right, so for the NBA, they're building up to the start of the season. So many matches are going on, warm-up games, NBA Summer League for the Sacramento Kings, and a lot of teams are trying to do what they know how to do best in basketball. So let us see what is going to happen in the NBA the coming season. All right, so for LeBron James, we'll see where he intends to ply his trade next. He's done very well so far, 4 rings. Some people's choice for the best b-baller in history. Some say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, some say Will Chamberlain, some say Michael. In fact, most say Michael Jordan. Some say the late Kobe Bryant. So many good players. Magic Johnson is definitely in the conversation. All right. So that's all for the NBA. We'll bring you up to speed when other developments when other developments definitely come to our notice. All right, so that's the much we can take on Sports Grandeur on OJ 106.3 FM Benin. My name is Ohis Eboreme. The show must go on whether we're under the weather or not. Radio doesn't wait for anyone. We must always do our best for our listeners and viewers who make sacrifices to watch us and also listen to us. So thanks a lot. Follow J106.3 FM on all social media platforms. Thanks and enjoy the rest of your day. Tomorrow is the local government elections. Don't forget that if you are not an INEC official or an international observer or a media personnel or whatever you have to be indoors until 3 p.m. Thanks and signing out.